What's up, guys? Eric here. So if you're completely new to ads, this video is called your ad stop guideline. So knowing when to turn off your ads and to keep them running is extremely important. This is the difference between an ad being profitable and you just throwing money down the drain. Okay. So it's kind of like with, if you guys ever heard in stocks, having a stop loss, how someone will let that, with the stock kind of go up, and it's not trending to go that way, and then they lose a lot of money. They have something called a stop loss guide as well. So you don't want to make decisions based off emotions. You want to make decisions based off of data. Okay. So best practices is when starting out, always launch at least two different ad sets, two ad set audiences. Okay. And each ad set should have at least two creatives tested against it. An ad set means, basically one advertising thing you'll split test it with one video and one image. And each one of those ad sets is going to go towards a different audience, so you can find which audience works best, which video, what's working best, video or image. Okay. So the campaign setup would be a bare minimum ad spend, $20 is super low, $20 to $40 a day. Okay. And campaign one would be ad set one with a video. Okay. And then the other ad set will be an image inside of that ad set, okay, inside ad set one. Okay, ad set two would be, again, $20 a day, and that would be one ad, one video, but this would be two. This one, ad set two, would be to a different audience. So for example, let's say for this one we target moms, and then for this one, let's say we target lawyers, just throwing some random stuff out there. And then what this is going to allow for us to do is not going to spend $20 on each one. It's going to split the $20 between the two, and Facebook is going to say it's going to allocate all the money towards whichever one performs best, whether it's the video or the ad. Okay, so this is what we find works best. Okay, and then out of the four things that we do, we should be able to find a winner out of them. So I'm going to delete this. Okay, so in total, this whole entire ad campaign would be spending $40 per day, not 20, 40, 60, 80. It would be spending $40 per day, $20 on this ad set, and then $20 on this ad set. And it would be split between an image and a video. And that's going to allow for us to know which one is performing better, the video or the image, and also which audience is performing better. Now, really important is knowing when to kill off or adjust the new ad. So number one, if an ad set combination has spent $45 initially with no leads, immediately turn off that ad set. So when you're looking at your ads campaign and you see that you spent $45 and you have no leads, that's an immediate red flag. We want to turn that bad boy off so we don't throw money down the drain. Okay. And the reason for that is if your cost per lead is, over even $20, it's probably not going to be a good ad. Okay. Number two is if an ad set combination has spent $150 with no qualified leads, based on qualifying them with questions, looking at their IG page, searching their emails. So let's say, for example, you're running DM ads and you spend $150 and all the leads have no pictures. They're all pictures of cats and people who look completely broke. Then you might want to turn that bad boy off, okay? And then test a new creative, okay? And then with that new creative, call out a more specific avatar, change the offer, etc. And when I say creative, that means the actual ad. Like, what is it saying? Like, hey, I'm looking for 5 busy moms that want blah, 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 right? So maybe you should say, hey, I'm looking for 5 busy women who are nurses instead, and then test that out. Okay, so if you spend $150 and you don't even get one qualified lead, even if they're $5 per lead, you should probably turn that lead off. Okay, I'd rather spend $10, $15 per lead, get less leads, but more qualified leads, in my opinion. Okay. So number three is if an audience, right, one of the ad sets, let's say this one, for example, has spent $350 in total and you've got no book calls from either your VSL, your DM ads, doesn't matter what type of ad, then pause the ad and then look at the messaging. So for example, if you're doing DM ads and you spend $350 and you've got leads coming in, like let's say you're getting leads for $10, you've got, that would be 35 leads that came in and not one of them booked a call. What you want to do at that point is you want to look at your messaging with your coach, okay? Because we would have to give you judgment. I've seen one of our clients spend about $350 or more, and they're like, I don't know why I'm not getting booking calls. And it was because they were jumping straight to, they're just like, as soon as the lead opted in, they're like, yeah, I'm ready, I want some info. They were just like, okay, great, let's book a call. And we're like, well, that's the reason why you're not getting booked calls, is because you're not nurtured, like you're not even asking any questions. You're just going straight for the kill shot, essentially. Okay. Number 4 is if you've spent $700 or you generated 100 leads, whichever one comes first. We'll just keep it simple. Let's say you spent $700 on one ad and you do have book calls, but you haven't closed any, then get that sales call reviewed. Okay? Because that doesn't mean the ad isn't working. It could mean that you are not working, meaning your sales skills suck. So if you spend $700, you've got 100 leads on one ad and you've got a bunch of book calls, but you haven't closed any, again, go to your coach, say, hey, I need to know if my sales suck. And then also internalize and kind of like analyze for yourself. Okay, have these calls been qualified? Yes or no? Because for you to get a return on your ad spend, all you need to do is close one client at $2,000. Okay, so this might be a sales problem or it might be an advertisement problem. You don't know until we actually listen to the call and we can tell you, yeah, this person was qualified, this person was not ready to go, or you just suck at sales and you need to get better. Okay, so that's a tricky thing about ads is knowing when to make decisions and when to kill it off and when to keep it running. Because this could be a really profitable ad. You might be spending $700 and you might have gotten 7 book calls or maybe 5 to 8 to 10 book calls out of this, and you might not close not even one of them, and that might be a sales problem, or it might be that all 10 of those book calls just honestly weren't qualified. We don't know until we listen to the call. We can't just go off of faith and believing in you. No offense. It's not that we don't trust you, but it's nothing like that. Hopefully you understand. And us as the experts will know if it's a sales problem, okay? So things to change in one of these scenarios is changing the headline in your advertisement in the VSL, changing the call to action in your advertisement, changing the video of the advertisement or the VSL. If you're running DM ads, then just ignore this VSL part. But if you are running ads to a VSL, like a landing page or a funnel, then you need to start changing up the headline, changing up the call to action, maybe shortening it, changing up the VSL video. Something might be wrong there. Okay, if you're doing DM ads, then it might be the advertisement itself, the creative itself, whether it's a call to action or what you're saying in the video or the words, the copywriting that you have in the creative. Okay, so for VSLs, you test in $1,000 increments with the VSL step. If you're getting calls, then keep running it. If you don't get a book call at $1,000, then adjust again. That's for VSLs. Most of you guys will probably be running DM ads, so you can just ignore this part right here. Now, if you've spent $3,500, what I would suggest to do is to run a reoffer to all of the leads. So with all of the leads that did not sign up, send a reoffer. So send them a DM with a kill shot, aka, hey, we got this special going on showing urgency and scarcity. It lasts, it's gone by tonight, so on and so forth. One of those type of things. Okay. Now this is your ads tracker sheet, and I'm going to show you example of somebody's ads that we've been looking at, so that you can get just kind of like some context on this. Now the optimal targets for your KPIs is right here. Give me a second. Is your cost per acquisition. This means how much you pay to acquire a new customer. Should be 20 to 30% of your ad spend. So at a $2,000 offer, which most of you have about a $2,000 offer, you'll be spending anywhere between $400 to $600 per customer, potentially less. Now this is pretty good, because just imagine that every $400 that you spend, you make $2,000 back. Okay, so just do the math. $400, which means you make $1,600 per customer. So if you spend, let's say $5,000 divided by 400, that means you close 12 clients at $2,000, which equals $25,000, and you spent $4,000. So basically you spend $4,000 and you make $25,000 back, or potentially more if you have a higher closing rate. Okay, so your cost per acquisition is anywhere between, that's like the target, and we could potentially get it less. Like the advertisement account I'm going to show you right now is actually like $300, so we could be getting it for less. But if you have a $400 to $600 cost per acquisition, cost to acquire a new customer, that is a good range right there for a $2,000 offer. Now the way that you can increase that is increasing your prices to $3,000. Now you're going to get more of a return on your ad spend, and then you can also run the reoffers to the people who didn't book a call, and then you can lower your cost per acquisition. Okay, So if you close, only 12 out of this, running a reoffer, like calling all the leads that didn't close, you might be able to bring that cost per acquisition down. Cost per lead is $4 to $12 max for a B2C fitness offer. Cost per booked appointment is $30 to $100 max. I've seen some people pay a little bit more, maybe $150 max, but this is like optimal what we want to shoot for. So it might be, some of these things could be a little bit less, a little bit more, but this is like the range that we're looking for. Okay, that means you're paying $30 for everybody that actually books a call. Your show up rate for paid ads is a little bit less than organic because they're cold leads. So we want to hit a target of a minimum of 40% plus. Okay, your closing rate with paid ads is going to be a little bit less. So if you close 40% of people organically, meaning from social media, we want to target at least 20% for paid ads. So again, let's just run through that. So if you're paying $30 cost per book appointment, let's say $50 cost per book appointment, and you spend $500, that means you got 10 book calls. Okay, so again, you spend $500, you get $50 cost per book call. That would be 10 book calls, and let's say 40% show up. That's 4 book calls at a 20% closing rate. You should be able to close 1 out of 4. So $500 would make you $2,000. So these numbers allow for us to know where the bottleneck is. So for example, if you get 10 book calls, right, at $50 per book call and you're not closing anything, then the problem might not be the ad. It might just be your sales skills suck, right? Or it might be that your advertisement is getting low quality book calls. So you want to be able to efficiently know when to analyze these numbers. So when you click this here, it's going to open up a document that looks like this. And I'm just going to show you like an ads, this is a real ads account that I just gave some information on. So as you can see with his ads account, he's paying a little bit more, $121 cost per book call. And he's got 18 book calls. So he spent a total of $2,100 in the year of 2023. So for November and December, which means his total cost per book call was $51, which is super low. So this tells me he's getting, leads for $5, which is super low. His cost per acquisition is super low. His closing rate is pretty good too, right? His closing rate is 39%. But the problem here is that he's only collected $1,000 in cash. So this is a good advertisement, but the problem is his sales skills kind of suck, right? So if he would have closed 7 of those deals at $2,000, it would be $14,000, which means he would have spent $2,000 and made $14,000 total. Does that make sense? Now, even if his cash to revenue ratio, meaning he only collected half of those payments, he would have still made $7,000 off of $2,000 dollars of ad spend. So this, just by me looking at these numbers right here, this tells me exactly what's going on. So either A, he's getting super unqualified leads and he can't, like these people are super broke. All they can afford is $125 because that's what he closed 7 deals. So in cash collected, it comes down to about $100 per client or $125. Or B, that he just sucks at sales and he needs to get better, right? So $2,000, even if he would have got $4,000 cash up front from these clients, he would have been profitable, right? But he wasn't. He lost $1,000 actually in these 2 months because of the fact that, not because of closing, but he wasn't closing for enough money down. This is why it's really important for your sales skills to be really good and for you to really track these numbers so that you can look at it and you can make data-driven decisions, not decisions based off emotions saying that the leads suck. You got to take responsibility and be like, okay, based on these numbers, actually, maybe my closing sucks. And then right here, what I would do, like if this was my ads account, I would go back to these 7 calls and I would say, I would say to my coach, I would say, can you review one of these calls and let me know, like, if I'm having a sales problem, like what is going on with me, right? Now, even like what I would do is I would utilize a firm, right? Even if you could have gotten 2 people approved through a firm at $2,000 per customer, he would have made $4,000. He would have made $5,000 in cash collected here, or at least $4,000, which means he would have actually made money off this off this advertisement campaign. So hopefully that's making sense. We don't want to make decisions based off emotions, saying that the advertisement sucks. We want to really look in the mirror and take responsibility and say, hey, maybe I'm not closing deals. Maybe I need to get better at sales. So let me send a call over and let me really think if I could have done better on these 7 calls that I got on and how I could maximize my ad spend, right? Now, what he can do here as well is all of these leads that didn't respond, because as you can see, he had 386 leads, only 41 responded, and he only got 18 book calls, which is actually pretty good. But now we can go back to these other 350 leads, and we can start to nurture them. We can start to send them emails. We can start to text them. We can start to send them SMS. We can start to DM them, to start booking them on calls and maximizing this ad spend. So that way there we can turn these ROAS up higher so that, our total cash collected can maybe go to 2, 3, 4, 5 grand, and now the ad is profitable. Or, if you're already profitable, it will help you become more profitable. So what I found is speed to lead, being on top of your leads, staying in contact with them, even if they don't close, is really, really, really important. Staying in contact with them, following up, sending them re-offers, meaning if they say no to you, you send them another offer. Going back to these 386 leads that didn't book a call and getting them on the phone. So hopefully this made sense, and we'll see you on the next one.